Your loved ones who have left the earth plane are alive and well and waiting for you in the afterlife. People now living in the afterlife tell us about wonderful, heartwarming reunions they have had with their loved ones living there. All the people and pets we loved on earth will be there to greet us when we come to the end of this life. In this video, I present the descriptions by 4 people of their reunions with their loved ones after they have left this life. Hello, I'm Dr. R. Craig Hogan, President of the Afterlife Research and Education Institute and Seek Reality Online. I'm the author of 8 books containing the evidence you will come to the end of this life, but you will never die. Everything I speak about comes from verified communications with people living in the afterlife. You're about to hear 4 people living in the afterlife speaking in direct voice medium Leslie Flint sessions about the wonderful experience they had of awakening in the next life to find that they were very much alive, and they were delighted to see that their loved ones were there to greet them. You can read about the proof Leslie Flint's seances were valid in the link in the descriptions below. The first speaker is Mary Ivan. Mary had been sick in bed for a month, cared for by her mother. Her sister, husband, and son had passed away years ago, leaving her alone with her mother. After she passed away, she awoke to find herself in what she thought was a hospital. Her sister Kate walked into the room carrying a large bouquet of flowers, but her sister had died when Mary was 12 years old. Mary describes what happened.
I woke up and found myself in a kind of place like a hospital. I thought, well, what's this? Because I was in my own house and I was sick of bed and everything, and I had a sister who was looking after me. And I remember waking up here and I was like a kind of ward place from the hospital, but very nice and very clean, and everything seemed so fresh and airy, and everyone seemed to be so efficient and quiet and peace, and the sun, whatever it was, at least I thought it was the sun then, was shining through the windows now, and everywhere around pretty and clean, and there were pictures hanging on the walls, and somehow it seemed like a very special kind of hospital. And I thought, well, this is strange. And then a very sweet woman came to me. She said, she says, you just have to rest a little while and then you'll soon be all right. Once you sort of sort yourself out and get to know things, and your people will be coming in to see you in a wee while. Anyway, then I saw my sister coming towards me, and I was so surprised because, I had a sister and she died very young. When I was about 12, we called her Kate. And I thought, this is strange. Kate's not here. Kate's dead. And there she was. And she came to me and she got a great big bunch of flowers in her arms. Beautiful flowers. They were fresh flowers with a dew on. And she said, here, I brought you this and we're so glad that you've come. And she says, Mother's coming soon. And also, Pa. I says, no. I said, that's not possible. I said, in any case, how are you getting in here? You know, here. You're dead. She said, oh, don't be silly. She says, I'm dead, all right. And so are you? I says, what you mean I'm dead? She says, you're dead. I says, no, it's not possible. I said, I'm very much alive. I'm in hospital. But how did you get in? Did anyone see you come through the door? She says, I also come through the door because they're all dead that are here.
Mary was in a hospital setting to make her transition into the afterlife easier for her. All the communications we have from people now living in the afterlife say that the transition from this life to the next is comfortable and painless. And all the communicators describe wonderful reunions with the people and pets they love who had gone on into the afterlife before them. The second speaker from a Leslie Flint session was named Isaac Watson. Isaac had been in poor health all his life and had an extended illness before his body died. When his body died, he awoke in a beautiful garden and saw someone approaching him with his hand out to greet him. It was his father, who had been dead for many years.
Well, I found myself over here first thing I remember was my father coming to meet me. The funny thing was, I remember waking up, I suppose is the way you put it. What appeared to be what it was. Garden. I thought it was the garden of our own house. We had a magnificent garden. My father was a great gardener. I was very interested in that. And this place was so like it. And I remember I sitting on a seat, looking across the lawns to an ornamental lake which my father had built. And I remember waking up and seeing my father coming towards me with his hands outstretched. First, it didn't strike me as odd. I think I thought of it all in such a natural manner, as if it was the most natural thing. And I remember him sitting down beside me and congratulating me. For this struck me as odd why I should be congratulated, but I didn't think what I'd done, what I'd achieved, and he wasn't a demonstrative man on that. And he was telling me how happy he was that I'd come through and succeeded. And for a moment I didn't understand what he was referring to, and then it suddenly dawned on me that this was all an unnatural situation. What was I doing on this seat in this particular place, which was really some 40 years previously, possibly more, my youth, my early years, my formative years. He said, you know, this is an exact replica. I said, what do you mean exact replica? I said, of the old home. And I could see, of course, that it even there was a replica, although to me it seemed identical. I thought it was the house, and I knew it couldn't be. And he said, well, let us go in and see the others. I said, others? What others? And he said, oh, Mother and Simon. Simon was a young brother, by the way, who passed infancy. And when he said Simon, it didn't mean a thing to me. I said, Simon, who this is Simon? He said, Simon is a brother. If you remember, the baby brother that died when you were about 3 or 4 years old. I said, Simon, I didn't remember any of this. Anyway, we went into the old house. It's exactly the same. Everything about it was the same furniture, the same statues, the same mantel shelf. Everything was identical in the drawing room. The piano was there, and I could see, as it was, if I were going back over 50 years, all perfectly reproduced. And there was my mother, looking so young, so very young, and I hardly realized at first that it was she, but as she was when my mother and father presumably first met. And there was a tall, young fellow. I should think he looked about 17, 18, turned out to be this brother who died in infancy.
The third speaker from the afterlife who spoke in a Leslie Flint session was Queen Alexandra of Denmark, the queen consort of Edward VII of England. Alexandra passed into spirit in 1925. She spoke in a Leslie Flint session in 1960. She describes the wonderful reception she received from her friends and loved ones on the other side.
I remember very vividly awakening in a room which was very reminiscent of a room that I'd been very fond of many years previously in my earthly existence. In every way, it seemed to be an exact replica. The colorings, the materials, the furnishings. In fact, everything about it was a perfect reproduction. In fact, so much so that I did not realize at first that
I passed on at all, and I remember only too well the very beautiful view from the window, with the beautiful green grass, lawns and the terraces, and at the bottom, far in the distance, the river. It was a spot which I had been most fond of, and in this room on my awakening were many of my relations and friends that I had known. It was almost like a kind of reception, which of course it was, and I must admit it was a great joy to me to meet all these friends and all these souls that had meant so much to me in my earthly life, and to have the feeling of peace and the realization that it was an environment in the very room in which I was most happy. It was a room that had given me great joy and pleasure many, many years previously.
The fourth speaker from a Leslie Flint session was named Sam Woods. He described what happened after he passed away. He said that he had been ill and confined to his bed. After a short time, he passed into the next life. It's like going to sleep, he said. Sam said he woke up in a room with flowers in a beautiful house he had always wanted. His wife was there, looking 30 years younger. As he looked around, he saw his wife's brother and his mother. At first, he didn't recognize his mother because she looked like a beautiful young lady. Squatting down at his side on the couch was his dog Tim and the family cat Marmee. Both had passed away years before.
The actual idea of leaving your lot, your world, and coming over here, it's nothing. It's just like going to sleep and waking up into a new environment. You might say that's so much nicer and pleasanter than anything you know on earth. All your old pals and your relations that you're fond of anyway around and about you, all giving you a welcome. Oh, it's a very nice house you do, I tell you. I remember waking up in what appeared to be a nice little place in the house. Yeah, nice room, nice flowers. Oh, beautiful little house it was, the sort of place that I'd always hoped one day I might have, but I knew jolly well from my own experience on earth that I never have it on your side, because I never had the other wherewithal to buy it or even rent such a place. But here I found myself in a very nice, lovely little place it was. It was not too big, but just my cup of tea, just very pleasant. And there was my old lady, looking as I remember, many years ago, looking 30 years younger. She was standing there, looking down at me. I was lying on this sort of couch arrangement, and I remember sort of waking, as it were, from sleep, and the first thing I saw was this lovely room, and my dear lady standing at the bottom of the bed, as it were, on a couch rather, and one or two other people that I'd known. There was my wife's brother that died in 1914-18 war. He came over, he was torpedoed or something, if I remember, in the First World War ship, and there was my mother there. At first I didn't even know it was my mother. Never even cottoned onto that at all. I recognised my wife, and I thought at the time how much younger she looked, and it was my mother, but I didn't recognise her. She looked like a young woman about 20. I'd seen a photo of her maybe many years ago, but I never gotten on to the fact it was my mother. But it soon dawned on me who she was. But first she looked like a beautiful lady that I had some vague idea of, but never knew. It's a funny thing, that when I got to think of it, all the various people who were there, people I'd known, what amazed me more than anything there, squatting down on the side there, was my old dog Timothy, old Tim. Oh, a lovely old creature Tim was. Been there for about 15 years or more. He was a nice old dog. And there was a cat. my wife had always been fond of the ginger cat it was. We used to call it old Marmy. It was a marmalade cat, Marmy.
We have many accounts of such wonderful reunions people have had when they arrived in the afterlife. They prove that the transition from this life is easy and painless. And when people arrive there, they always have happy reunions with the people and pets they loved on Earth. No one reincarnates, so they're not there when someone arrives. Reincarnation is misunderstood. To learn the truth about reincarnation, go to the link in the description below. We also know that we won't see people we don't want to see. They just won't be present where we are for as long as we don't want to see them. The many thousands of accounts of people speaking from the afterlife about their reunions show that when you come to the end of this life, you will have an easy, painless transition into the next life, and you will awaken to see the people and pets you love who transitioned into the next life before you.